Hey, good morning, and welcome back to the podcast, Evil Dungeon Master Universe Podcast. As AD&D week continues, might be a permanent thing here on the channel because a lot of people really enjoy it. Getting a lot of feedback from it on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it, and people were enjoying just the coverage of AD&D because AD&D is such a great, wonderful game. Hopefully you're having a great week. It's midweek, it's Wednesday, and we're moving forward in the week, and we got a very holiday coming up. I can't wait. Be going away this weekend and having a game as well. So hopefully you will be doing the same, or at least having a wonderful time off here in the States. Anyway, today we're going to be talking a little bit about my website. No, I'm kidding. My website is theevildm.com. Go there to check out everything I'm doing. Today we're going to be talking about a spell in the AD&D 1E Player's Handbook, and it's going to branch out a little bit into Unearthed Arcana because there's some interesting things about this spell that a lot of people may have forgotten or not remembered. So there is a spell on page, what page is this? 91. Permanency. Yeah, we all know about permanency, and we know how this kind of works, but I just want to talk about it a little bit because there's something interesting about it that after reading it and looking around that I didn't remember. And I'm thinking, what the heck? Why didn't I think about this or do this? I've had characters high enough level to do this, so why not? Obviously, you have to have it written down on your character sheet and once it's done, but let me take a look at it for you. So on the page 91, permanency, it's an alteration spell, level 8. Range is special, duration is permanent, area effect special, verbal somatic materials. Casting time is 2 rounds, saving throws none. Okay. This spell affects the duration of certain other spells, making the duration permanent. This spell upon which a personal permanency will be effective are. So I'm going to get into that in just a minute, but what this does is a magic user casts a desired spell and then follows it with a permanency spell. So if you want to make that magical item, or you want to make a magical with a potion, or something you want to do magical, each permanency spell lowers the magic user's constitution by 1 point. The magic user cannot cast these spells upon other creatures. In addition to personal use, the permanency spell can be used to make the following objects or area effect spell lasting: Enlarge, Fear, Gust of Wind, Invisibility, Magic Mouth, Prismatic Spear, Stinking Cloud, Wall of Fire, Wall of Force, and Web. The former application of permanency can be dispelled only by a magic user of greater level than the spellcaster was when he would initially cast it. The permanency application to the other spells allows it to be cast simultaneously with any of the latter when no living creature is the target, but the permanency can be dispelled normally and thus the entire spell negated. So, you want to start making your own magical items for your campaign. This is the spell you're going to want. So if you're making a +1, +2, +3, whatever, +5 magical weapon, you're enchanting it using the enchanted spell, boom, you make it, this makes it permanent. This is how we start making magical weapons. Now, the thing here is it says lowers the constitution by 1 point. Now, that was written in, this is written in 78. 79, the DMG, contradicts this. Because if you turn to page 46 in the DMG, it says that you only have a chance to lose 1 constitution point is 5% per casting unless it's upon yourself, then you don't lose the constitution point. So, this is one of those things, again, which do you look at? Because there's all these, OSR bros out there who, play by the letter of the law. So, this is where the DM has to step in and obviously look at the 2 sources and decide which one they're going to use. Now, me personally, I'm probably going to use the 5% chance, because why would you punish your players for something they want to create, especially at a high level like that? And a magic user, losing a point of constitution is a lot for them. So I could see a lot of DMs doing it, and I probably, if anything, would just waive it and maybe make them roll just to see what happens, because I don't think it's really fair to lose a constitution point for this spell. And later on, obviously, Gygax, when he wrote the DMG, decided that it's only a 5% chance. So how about a no percent chance, or maybe just like a 1% chance? I don't know. What do you think about that? But anyway, let's flip to Unearthed Arcana. And if we look at page 81, they talk a little bit about the spell Permanency. With this spell which is cast, okay, where is it? Page Permanency. The spell upon the personal permanency will be effect include, so you can cast this spell upon yourself, which we talked about before, and you can have comprehend languages, detect evil, detect illusion, detect invisibility, detect magic, infravision, protection from evil, protection from normal missiles, read magic, run, tongues, ultravision, and unseen servant. So imagine casting this spell on yourself and making a permanent read magic spell, or permanent tongue spell, or you have a permanent comprehend languages going on with you. So you cast this upon yourself, and boom, you now can comprehend every single language, no matter what somebody talks to you about, or whatever, what they're talking to you. As long as it's within the spell guidelines, you can understand it. Run. Wow, think about that one. Read magic. Everything magic possible within the guidelines of the spell, obviously, you can now read because you cast it upon yourself. So yeah, this one also goes on to say there's a 5% chance that the spellcaster loses Constitution. Now, the only way that this would be reversed is if someone did the spell magic on you personally. The chances of them realizing you have a magical permanency on you is probably 0% chance. And yeah, I would definitely, as a DM, make sure the player wrote it on their sheet that they'd have a special ability of whatever they picked on here for permanency in parentheses and the level they cast it at. Because remember, as it says in the guidelines, it says at the time of the casting, that's the level. So if you're whatever level when you cast it, 12 or whatever, 16, and you cast it upon yourself, and now your level, say 22, and you come across a magic user of higher level than your 16th level, they can dispel it. Now, if they're underneath it, like the lower level, and they try to dispel it, it really won't work. So it also goes on to say, in addition to personal use, the permanency spell can be used to make the following objects, creatures, or area effects spell lasting: alarm, deep pockets, dispel magic, enlarge, fear, force cage, gust of wind, invisibility, magic mouth. There you go. That's how you get your permanent magic mouth. Preserve, prismatic spear, stinking cloud, wall of fire. The same as it before. So this is really an interesting spell, breaking it down and looking at it in a couple different key areas of the book, as far as the player's handbook, the DMG, and now with the Unearthed Arcana. Now, I know a lot of people don't particularly like using the Unearthed Arcana. I like using the book because it just makes it a little bit more interesting. But it was I know Unearthed Arcana was one of those books that people are like, oh, it's so OP. It's the orange spine. It's 1.5. Things like that, like we used to always say on Roll for Initiative. But I know quite a few people that don't like using it because it makes it a little powerful. The classes in this book and the spells are made a little bit more powerful than what was in the original player's handbook. I don't think it's too much of a difference. I mean, yeah, sure, the Cavalier, the Barbarian, and stuff like that are a lot more powerful than, maybe some of the base classes, but it also has a lot of weird little restrictions in it so that you have a balance there. I don't know. Tell me what you think about the spell. Have you have any thoughts about permanency? Have you used permanency? It's really not a spell that I've used as a player because chances are I've never gotten to that level to use it. The couple times that I had, I completely forgot about it. So I don't know. I think with the knowing about the permanency spell here and the things that you can actually just attach to yourself and using the 5% or less of Constitution point, I would absolutely use this as a high level magic user. That's just what I'm thinking. I don't know. Head over to youtube.com/evilDM on this video or Spotify and leave some comments. I'm going to see if I can put up a poll on Spotify seeing how many people actually use this spell. If you want to go ahead and vote, I'd appreciate that. I always love when people vote. We have a perfectly good voting thing going on our community tab on YouTube with an ongoing story that's just going to be driven by you guys, the listeners. So head over there and do that. With that said, we're going to head out. Keep it original, keep it old school. Good night. God bless. And remember, no drama and there's no clickbait. We're just all gaming here on this channel. Good night, everybody.